Welcome to the Too Much Dip podcast. My name is Dave. My producer here, Randy Trimbacki, he's got a case of the fuck around.
I got a case of the fuck around.
What are you doing?
I forgot that my camera isn't plugged in, so you can't see me. But hey, I'm just having some fun dancing to the intro song.
It wasn't even playing yet.
Yeah, it was. I could hear it.
Oh, God. Gonna be one of those episodes. Happy producer week to those who follow. Joining me in studio for a seg or two, it's not Dylan. Dylan's on his way back, probably around Bastrop right now. We got Brett Merriman in the building.
Speaking of Bastrop, that's the first Buc-ee's I ever went to. I do want to try the new Buc-ee's out. Is it out Hillsborough where? Hillsborough Way, I should say.
There's Temple.
It's the one at the split, 35 East and West.
That's
Hillsborough.
Hillsborough.
I think
Yeah.
that might be the one I went to.
Yeah, it's the brand new one. But
I didn't know there was one there. Interesting.
haven't made up that way. Thank you guys for having me on to talk about JD Vance and his what it means for American politics moving forward as the Trump VP pick.
I thought we were going to talk about JG Wentworth,
877 cash now.
who we're very happy to have on board. What you could do with JG Wentworth. I'm just kidding.
If you have a structured settlement,
Yeah, that's right. Randy knows. No, Brett's going to talk some golf with us. Brett's a big golf guy. He's finally figured it out with his driver. He's spraying the block on golfers this weekend, so we're going to have some fun.
We are. We're hot off a Bobby Mack 40 to 1. So I didn't text my buddy Dan Regester. I'm sorry, Dan, but we were all over that one.
He was in on it. Here's a guy in Wisconsin joining the show with a Sight for Sore Eyes Massimo t-shirt behind him. It's KJ.
Hello, fellas. Glad to be here on what will forever be remembered. It's the last day of professional productivity. Sad that Dylan's not here. I really figured he was attending just like the pre-home run derby and back in the studio today, only to find out like he was just at a game in Houston. Not saying he wasn't doing other things, but he just attended a Houston Astros Rangers game mid-season, and that's a move.
He just needed a day. You know, that drive from Houston to Austin is not fun.
If I was going to make a KJ joke, it would be somebody attended the pre-home run derby, but I didn't. That's professional growth.
Okay. I respect it.
The umpire comes out.
It's appreciated in my court.
Instead of brushing off the plate, he's got a black light.
Yeah.
TSA pre-check out there just judging.
What? What's
Yeah,
that
what
joke?
was that joke?
What's that joke, buddy?
The TSA pre-check. Dave made it multiple times when we were in the airport.
Oh,
No,
I'm throwing this back on Dave.
Yeah, seriously. Like, I'm just sitting here trying to host the show, and Randy's over there fucking around.
He does have the fuck rounds. When you stood up and started dancing as the record button was being hit, I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, why this show? What got you like so geared
Man,
up?
just set in the mood.
2:30.
Wow.
It's 2:30 fuck arounds roll around, and Randy is absolutely giddy.
Seriously.
It's like he had a Celsius for the first time.
Did you?
No,
Oh. We'd love to see that one day.
I've done it.
Okay. Hey, man, I want to give a shout out to our good friends at Roback. Use code WASH20. If you're in the market for, I don't know, maybe anything, any kind of active wear, outdoor wear, maybe some great workout tees, some t-shirts, some golf polos, some anything polos, some hats, go to Roback. Use code WASH20. Load the card up. It's a one-time use code. Do it. They got the best polos in the game. I wear nothing but the Roback workout shorts to the gym. That is a true statement. Check it out. Tell them Dave sent you. Big fans. Roback. Also, go subscribe to our YouTube. Go to youtube.com/toomuchdip. And don't forget, rate and review the pod. Tell your cousin about the pod. Tell your second cousin about it. Tell your aunts and uncles. If they know what a podcast is, first of all, explain to them how we make money. Then tell them to subscribe to the show. They might like it. We do, KJ. We have to do that.
Fair. New listeners every day. And in fact, it is the best time of the year to get on board with the show. Because if you join as a listener between September and January, odds are you're joining because one of us said something absolutely stupid about a team that you care very much about. So to save us all the trouble, join now. Realize we don't know what the hell we're talking about half the time. And the other times you're probably wrong. And you'll love us in the fall.
I'm
Yep.
excited for prediction season. Getting some just some bold predictions out there about the upcoming college and professional football season. Although that distinction is becoming more and more blurred.
Did you see the prediction from one Nick Saban? This is crazy.
What'd Coach say?
He said that Texas is not going to run the SEC.
Wow.
Ooh.
Not if Brian Kelly has anything to say about that. You see him riding a Longhorn?
No.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I need to see that. Is it as funny as it sounds?
Yeah, it's a fake
1,000%.
Sheesh. Save a horse, ride a Longhorn, right?
There it
Come
is.
on, go.
Nick,
Oh.
yeah, Nick did predict, I believe, Texas and Georgia would face off in the SEC title game, which I thought that was clever.
You know, there's no since there's no divisions in the SEC anymore. There's no tiebreakers that are out yet. So, like Ole Miss, Georgia, and Texas can all go 11-1. I would assume, obviously, like a head-to-head is the first tiebreaker. But where do we go from there? Like conference wins probably, and then where do we go?
Ole Miss going 11-1 this year?
I'm not going to say it, but
You did though.
that's I think more 11-1 than 9-3. Put it that way.
How do you like that, Randy? You fuck.
Whoa, the
Yeah.
luxury.
He's
Yeah.
feeling pretty good about it. KJ, what say you?
Oh. They're not going 11-1. End of discussion.
Okay. All right.
I think
Get a little tense.
it's realistic.
Getting a little tense in here.
10-2 at the worst, 11-1 at the best.
At the worst.
Yes.
Okay.
Brett, I know your time is very, very valuable.
Yeah, you guys pay me on a per hour basis.
Yep. You are an independent contractor.
10.99, baby.
This Open Championship, the Royal Troon.
Royal Troon, right?
Uh-huh.
Excited. Very excited.
You know, coming on the heels of
What?
a very, very exciting ending to the Scottish Open.
Yeah.
This thing just bam, right there. Woke up this morning. I knew something felt different. And I was like, oh, fuck, we got the Open. Of course. Royal Troon. We're right here. How you feeling?
It's one of my favorite things to do is get really excited for the Open Championship every year and wake up at 4-ish in the morning and watch a couple of guys tee off, get really excited for it, realize I'm way too tired and just fall asleep on my couch until my alarm goes off at 7. Done that 3 or 4 times in the last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, and my favorite thing, what I can't wait to do is wake up at like 3:30 or 4 and then go try to figure out how to subscribe to Peacock because I'm a big dummy.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're going to be doing Peacock, we're going to be doing NBC, we're going to be doing USA. I think those are your 3. Those are your big 3.
Sure. Yeah, we'll hop back in on the Peacock subscription probably Wednesday afternoon. Watching Brandel and the boys talk at live from all week. I'm excited. Royal Troon's up there near Glasgow. Dave, you familiar with Scotland?
Very much so, yeah.
So look to continue just some great golf. Bobby Mack, big putt on 18. People are talking about the free relief he got potentially on 16. To his credit, he was like, yeah, it was a lucky break. I stepped on a sprinkler head and was like, oh shit, can't hit with that. Free drop, eagle.
You ever play golf with KJ?
Yeah, I think I have. One time.
Guy loves free relief.
Does he?
Yeah. He's always like, we got to go into town and I need some free relief.
It wasn't KJ throwing darts in his backyard like the first 4 months of COVID. Like that was KJ's thing.
Something like
that
that.
was the golden years of my golf game. I'm going to have to defer to Brett on everything that's been said, with the exception of everybody is talking about the Scottish Open.
I didn't say that. I think Dave
'Cause
said
It was a big ending to Bobby Mack.
a Scot who won the Scottish Open for the first time in like 25 years.
It's coming home.
It came home.
It did well. It won. It in one sense it did. Then the English soccer team shit the bed, but
Yeah, he outperformed Adam Scott.
great
Let's
Adam
see,
Scott.
Rory was tied for 4th. Thigala.
Morikawa up there.
it is a fun
Morikawa,
tournament because a lot of guys who are
Ludwig
playing in
Aberg.
the Open play the Scottish.
It's a
obviously.
tune-up.
A tune-up.
A
Is
tune
it?
at Peach.
Yeah, it's a tune-up.
I'm not seeing an S. Scheffler anywhere.
Scotty chose not to tune up.
He's a family man.
Yeah.
I think you should respect that.
I'm not seeing any live golfers present. So
No, they were playing in
validity
Spain.
of this.
Sergio got the dub.
Sergio got the dub in his red and yellow attire.
Thank you for bringing attention to this. We talk very little Liv for good reason. I don't care to. But something needs to be said about the absolute worst uniform in all of sports, any level, any sport, anything, than bright yellow pants and a bright red shirt. It looked like a 1960s like car hop for McDonald's.
Ooh, okay. You're not a big fan of the average Joes in dodgeball, then?
I'm trying to think of how to work that into
There you
the to the gals doing the bright red shirt, yellow shorts. Bright red shirt, the whole thing. Remember that meme? It was better on circling back. I should have just holstered it, but I didn't.
I've been saying sneaky link all day.
It's really addicting.
I don't hate if it's
being
a
a Bob.
predominantly red top and some yellow accents, but you can't go full on like Whopper no onions on us.
Indiana Hoosiers.
It's a bad look, and he leaned
Or
in.
not Hoosiers, whatever it is.
I don't know where you're going with that.
Yeah.
Isn't Indiana just red?
Who,
and
the
white?
movie Hoosiers.
Oh, the
like
movie
the team
Hoosiers,
from
okay.
the movie, not the college, is what I was trying to get at. Anyways, Hickory Creek. There you go. Something like that.
Okay.
There you go, Randy. I just. sent it
I'm
to you.
excited for it to be a major. I'm not excited for the Open Championship. Anywhere but the old course,
Okay.
or any time in which I've got to see the tweets about the time of day that someone's bragging about watching it, which both of you have already done, so I appreciate it.
No, I'm not bragging.
Bro.
I'm gonna wake up, try to watch some golf, and fall asleep on my couch. I'm just saying that's my timeline.
I love it for you and everyone out there who plans to indulge. I just know if it's not for complaints about Peacock, that's going to be the first like tweet that you see about this tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it. I'm all for it. It's the final major of the year, although I am kind of looking forward to seeing if we care at all about Olympic golf.
Ooh,
here
I
in a
thought you
few
were going
weeks,
for
but,
the FedEx Cup playoffs, of which you're a huge fan.
You
KJ.
love it. You love to see the
There's
boys
like
win
2
big
elevated
money.
events left.
Oh yeah, people forget about that, Brett.
Mm-hmm.
Brett loves elevated events as well.
Big fan of the BMW Championship.
Randy found the picture
Where's
of
that played?
Sergio. If this Sergio picture, it's so much ridiculous. God damn it, Sergio. Sorry, I know we've moved on. It just really is bright.
Is
the
he about
eyes.
to clean your windows at Shell?
Okay,
in
that's a
98?
good call.
He does.
Very
There's like a little
Ferrari.
F1. Yeah, there's a little pit crew like kind of to his vibe right now.
Like-
Yeah,
That's a Shell Pennzoil situation going like strong.
Does
But hey, they fucking won. Good for him.
Right.
Yeah.
Bright red shirt and a yellow short. There it is. That's better.
good job.
Thanks, man.
Producer week is over. He's back, folks.
I'm here.
What, KJ?
No, I'm just trying to decipher the same exact words that you said versus his,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
I guess he's saying he hit it on beat.
He
Yeah.
There's
just had
some-
a little more.
There was a different emphasis.
Mhm.
Anyway, I'm
Okay.
excited for Royal Troon. I think it gets it's not one of the more celebrated on the Rota, right? But it has the postage stamp that everybody likes to talk about, which I don't. Golf course architecture nerds, I'm not in tune on, but beautiful course on the water. Excited. I like. I'm spraying the block this weekend. I'm all over the place as far as bets go. But I did sprinkle a couple. Can I give you guys my sprinkles that really have no? They were not backed by any logic. These are the kind of the in the plums picks.
Can I guess one?
Sure.
Alex Noren.
No, he's on my card though.
Oh, okay.
He's
Yeah.
not a plums pick. He's a true pick. Rory. I mean, I'm throwing his numbers are like the odds suck, but he's a sprinkle play just because him and Cat because you have to.
I don't know if you have to with Cat anymore.
I think you have to.
Rory's
Imagine-
like second favored. I don't
Correct-
feel like
correct.
you've got to overly defend the
No, it's
second
you
best
just
odds.
because it's just like if you're going to bet on golf, you're trying to hit shots because
I understand.
there's so many players that it doesn't really make sense to bet the favorite. Scotty's the favorite right now. I have him at 5-1, which is crazy. Rory's at 6.5-1. But the plums picture: Cat, Rory, and Ernie L's top 10 at
Ooh.
55-1, coming off his win in the whatever the heck Champions Tour major was last week at lovely Firestone in Akron, Ohio.
Can I give you a top 10 play?
I think. Can I guess?
Adam Scott.
I like it. I was going to say Sergio.
Ooh, okay. He's in form.
Sure is. Sure is. Otherwise, we're going across the block here. We're going Tommy Ladd. You know that, Dave.
Yep.
Hove. Rom, you can get at 28-1 right now. Not exactly playing his best golf,
True.
but that's a number you can't ignore. Same with Cam Smith, 45-1. Tom Kim. Big fan of Tom Kim this week. Tony Finau, Corey Connors, Russell Henley, Aaron Rye.
I like it. Did you hear the Vic Hovland note to come out over the weekend?
We was asking where babies come from, right?
I was referring more to him talking about how how his live offer went down, and how he
Okay.
had his agent look into it, and ultimately he did something refreshing that shouldn't be shocking for a man of Northern European descent. He's like, yeah, it's a lot of money, but I've made a lot of money,
Mhm.
so I'm just gonna keep playing on this tour, which is kind of nice to see. It's
Very
like, yeah,
refreshing. Very refreshing.
I like when people have their own personal cap on that.
Me too. He was honest. He said it's a bunch of money, but I'm kind of good. I like
Yeah.
the tour I'm playing on. I got buddies over here. Let's keep it up. Then did you see him ask where he was wondering about aliens and the afterlife?
No, I didn't see this. Let's talk.
He was seriously wondering if aliens are real and talking about what happens after we pass on. This came out in a press conference.
So he's me in 9th grade, smoking a Primo blunt for the first time.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. Unbeknownst to me,
It
by
was
the way.
pretty good. What do you think happens after we die? We don't know. The establishment will say your neurons will stop firing, your body will rot. Okay, that's one explanation. But if you look at our ancestors, there's a huge culture that goes into preparing for the afterlife. Were they just idiots or were they onto something? I love ending it with a question there. I'm just
Good.
curious to find out. Also, a good addition. You just gotta, I'm just curious. I'm just looking for answers, just like you. Not sure. We've gotten sold another one on the board. That's an Aaron Rodgers bingo card for sure.
Mm-hmm.
We've gotten sold that we have all the answers, and there's just so much we don't know. I find those questions super motivating. Critical point, a very, very appreciable trait to be motivated, and I just want to figure it out. I'm
Yeah.
just like you guys, looking for the answers.
Hey, he's just motivated to find the answers. Do your own research.
I love this kid.
He also
love
dropped
it.
his favorite drink of choice on the rare occasions he drinks, Dave. Want to guess?
Ooh,
Eskimo Joe's.
Diet Dr. Pepper and Malibu.
Neither. It's a vodka soda.
Oh, he's going for a clear play.
Clear play, yeah.
It's easier to digest.
He also says he's in search of a girlfriend, but the right one hasn't come along, and it takes time to spend with me, and he hasn't had enough time to do that.
Okay.
So he might just trying to be a dog.
Oh, you think he's one of those guys, huh?
I don't know. I don't think
Out
there's many
there.
golfers out there just
Mm-hmm.
absolutely on the prowl kind of
Chasing the muff.
thing. No, well, goodness.
That's what they say in that movie.
Is this a 1986 comedy?
Dazed and confused. The coaches are
Okay,
like,
there you
just
go.
sign. They're like, sign the thing. Yeah, don't be out there. I know what you're gonna do, chasing the muff around. I always found
You're
that to be
right, you're right.
disturbing.
Hanging out the pool.
Yeah.
Okay.
You guys understand movies?
You like Bryson this week, KJ? Coming off
Every
a U.S.
week.
Open.
Any and
win?
every week.
Oh, are you've done a 180 on Bryson, haven't you? Dave is still.
I've
holding
always
up.
been in on a Bryson. Given his SMU ties, I've always been inclined to be pro Bryson. But I think when we started this show, we were right in the heat of Brooks v. Bryson, and I was very torn on how that should play out because I loved the wrestling aspect of it, but both of them were so unlikable at the time. You hadn't had the full swing show, you hadn't had the injuries fully take place, and it just was insufferable for everybody.
Mhm.
And now I think PGA Tour should be like, we probably wouldn't have that success between those two if it weren't for how things played out, but we definitely missed out on future success.
I'm certainly not the only one with this take, and you guys may have even covered this. We get just the right amount of Bryson now.
Yes. That's
perfect.
Well, people are like, wow, man, Bryson's really reinvented himself. People are now love Bryson. He's a fan favorite. Like, what's different? Well, what's different is not week in, week out where there's video of him walking into a rope and getting mad and just little things. And the fact that he was ultra bloated when he did all this shit.
Yeah.
There's something about a guy who's purposely getting bloated to when they do something like a little bit annoying, it's just magnified because they just look like a big, humongous baby.
And the meathead kind of aspect to it.
Yeah. Look, he's a nice dude. I'm pretty much the first person to ever really get a one-on-one with him.
Really?
But yeah, I think I was the first person at Sawgrass at his rookie season on tour. Just sat down with him, pointed out, "Hey man, you're looking low-key thick," is I think what I said. Something that journalists, they don't have that in their repertoire these days. But
He appreciated it.
when I sat down, yeah, he was a really nice guy. I'd like to find that entire interview. I always say that, and it's always like, I'm really not saying a lot by saying he's a nice guy, but he is down to do bits, unlike some players on the tour at that time. Shout out Tom Hoagie. Didn't want to do lip biscuit bits. Ooh, mister, I got to go play the golf tournament. I can't joke about Fred Durst being from Jacksonville. Okay.
TCU guy, though.
He is a TCU guy. See, look, there's the juxtaposition.
I see. Okay.
The skillet.
Before we wrap up Open Championship talk, I do want to ask about only active person I'm seeing that's won it previously is Heinrich Stenson. He's 200-1. I assume he's in no position to compete. Is there anyone else with previous success? Like the last time they've held it at Royal Troon is 2016, but I'm not seeing anybody else that like bears mentioning for previous success.
Yeah, I mean, you get like Phil's in the field, obviously, because he's won. So you get some of those guys. John Daly is in the field. You can get him at a gigantic number. Zeege is plus 20,000.
We're watching that. We're aware and monitoring.
Okay. All right. If you're on board, Darren Clark, I think he's 70. He's in the field. So it's kind of one of those fun tournaments that, like Tom Watson in 09, I mean, was well within striking distance of old Stu Sink. Couldn't make it happen, but
oh man, that hurt.
Yeah. This like links golf. You're not going to lose a bunch of golf balls, right? Like so, it's kind of one of those things. Anything can happen. We'll see.
That's why, yeah. Damn, dude, I really like Bryson.
But the only thing, it's not like a lawn course, so power doesn't exactly have the same advantages it would in a U.S. Open.
Look, I just fucking like it, okay?
Okay. Hey, you can like it.
Hey, we got you here. Thoughts on Keegan Bradley, officially your Ryder Cup captain?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. People had takes, all across the golf world and the golf internet kind of thing. I like Keegan. I think it's cool. It's a Northeast Ryder Cup coming up. I think the European team only kind of gets stronger with the likes of Oberg and Rahm and the boys, and we'll see. I don't know. Bethpage is an interesting Ryder Cup venue. The crowd's going to be nuts, but I think it's just kind of one of those things that we're going to win every American Ryder Cup, and the Europeans are going to blank us in Europe every time. I think that's kind of how it's going to go.
Doesn't that kind of feel weird too? Like, it won't take anything away if we win, but it'll feel like we just did what we're supposed to do.
Correct. Yeah, it's like it's a not a lose, but if we win by 3 or 4 points, it's supposed to at Bethpage, big drives from Bryson and Brooks and the boys. Then we go play some technical course in France or Rome or wherever the next one is in Europe, and then we lose because we can't take advantage of what we're good at. So you're right. It's just kind of okay. But if we lose, then the story goes back to, well, now Zach Johnson's, kind of vindicated, and Keegan can't be a captain, and where's Tiger, and Phil got, banished. So the state of 35 to 55-year-olds in men's American golf is an interesting one, no doubt.
KJ, who you like this weekend?
I guess I'll just ride with Bryson. I'll ride with Scott again. That's a give up. Those are give up picks. Give me the odds of Tiger to make the cut and finish all 4 days, all 4 rounds.
Let me see if I can find that. Let's see. Make cut.
So if we have Tiger to complete whatever number of holes that is, that would be my.
Unfortunately, KJ, my book does not offer Either.
72 is the answer I'm seeing online. So give me Tiger playing 72 holes as my pick of the week.
Okay.
Give me the aforementioned Oberg
Mm-hmm.
for the dub. Long shot. Minwoo Lee.
Love the Minwoo pick, Dave. I'll take Tom Kim 50-1 as the shot, and let's go. Well, let's ride with Rory. Ride with Rory.
Okay. Good shit. Anything else you want to do? Plug? Say? I'll give you the platform.
Man, check us out on the Mail-In podcast. Sally and I, actually Randy and I last week.
I thought you
So,
quit doing that show.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, we're back this week.
We had a closed door.
They can't
Did you?
send me an email.
So we'll see you there. If you'd like to email me for business inquiries, shoot me an email at dave@washedmedia.com.
That's not your name. That's
No.
me, and that's my email address. Get that fucking
Randy@washedmedia.com.
No,
Thanks, guys.
that's my email.
Oh.
September, right around
Thanks,
the corner.
KJ. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you, Brett.
Let's go play some
Later.
EA Sports.
All right. There he goes. Noted golf guy. How about that, KJ?
Oh yeah, I'm glad that Brett sat in, as it led us in a path to really stick to how European my weekend felt. I really want to talk Netflix receivers, but maybe we do that on the back end. Can
Sure.
we just briskly run through some of the European? I know Copa America is like definitively not European. I get it. I'm saying soccer's European. So let's just hit these three big stories and then wrap it up.
You just fried my brain with the Copa America. I see what you're. I
I'm
see
saying,
why.
like, I'm
but-
packaging it because it's soccer along with the
See,
Euro Cup as well as Wimbledon.
this is why
Is that
soccer will
fair?
never catch on here because of guys like KJ. Go ahead.
Of the three events going into this weekend and last week, I probably would have thought I was going to watch the European Cup final or the Euro Cup final more than anything. And I wouldn't have thought I would watch as much Carlos Alcaraz as I did. For somebody who has the least, actually, how should I phrase this? Like the most hateable face. Like he has the least I have chill vibes demeanor when he plays. Nothing about his play, his style of play makes me want to ever root for him, hang out with him, think anything positive about him. But his domination and his ability to like hang in there, it sounds stupid, but like resilience, and like mid-match, I watched the Francis Tiafoe match, and for a little bit I was like, shit, Francis might get the sneaky upset here last week or whatever. No chance.
Tiafoe is like the only guy
Watch
who plays
him.
him really, really well.
Mm-hmm. You watch him against Djokovic yesterday, and you're like, uh-oh. Is this going to take a turn? Third set? No.
No, he's a dog.
Dude is a monster. He's 22.
Yeah.
20 freaking 2. Insane.
We I don't know if you're like me and you don't really follow tennis very closely, but I will pop in for Wimbledon. Absolutely will. And part of that is knowing that I'm seeing a guy who everyone is projecting to be in the pantheon when it's all said and done, maybe even like before he's 30, as far as like the numbers. So yeah, it's kind of cool to be, we're not ground floor at this point, but you know, right there, just shortly thereafter.
I mean, if he's going to play another 15 years or whatever, or compete for another 15 years, it's like, it's tremendous to see, which, not to make a golf comparison, but like maybe it feels a little bit like early Rory or early Brooks, like when they're just tearing up, or maybe, you know, even Spieth to a certain extent, but like just tearing up victories, you know, in such a short time, so early in their career. And I think all of those are good examples of like, you can project this out all you want and you'd be like, oh, this could be the greatest ever. He has a chance to. And the thing that sets the greats apart is like, it's impossible to expect someone to do this for 15 years or to be at this level in 15 years. So we get another chance to hope, and that's exciting to see. I think tennis has done a good job of always like having some balance of you have a superstar and a counterpart or multiples. So I don't know who that would be in tennis right now, but I'm eager to see. Like I know Daniil Medvedev, or the other tall guy. I can't remember. I'm completely blanking. Who cusses a lot. Can't recall. Somebody else will
The
know.
bad boy?
Yes.
I just know him as the
And I can't
bad
think of his
boy.
name. So there's Medvedev and there's another dude. Like they were kind of supposed to be those dudes. You know, Medvedev made it to the semis here against Alcaraz, but like we're just not there yet. So when we have that true competition of like this guy's winning or this guy is or this one is or this one, I think that will be great for tennis. But I'm enjoying the Alcaraz domination right now.
Did you follow any of the I know we talked it's not European, but the Hard Rock Cafe stadium, whatever it is, with the the Colombian fans?
I completely bricked my my watching schedule yesterday. Shout out to Will for throwing a reminder about the Euro Cup in the group chat because I was only focused on the 7 p.m. start time for Copa America. And like I kind of played out in my head, like, all right, great. I'll kind of see the intro ceremonies, which are always dope for soccer. I think it's always great. You know, they always make a big deal out of it, especially for events like this. And of course, that didn't happen on schedule. And by that point, by the time it was 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock Central, you'd seen all the social media accounts of it. And the fact that there were injuries, but there was nothing significant, and that we didn't get like mace or smoke grenades tossed out, or you know, nobody's busting out fire hydrants these days, but like we didn't get some really graphic images, is kind of a miracle. And that they were able to pull off putting this event on like an hour and a half later. Yikes.
Yeah, and then you get Messi going down. I tuned in, I'll be honest, I tuned in for the last 8 minutes. I saw extra time. I saw the goal. I was happy with that. Cool.
Which is, I mean, it's tough, especially in a day where you've got a different soccer match already have happened. You had Wimbledon that morning, and how could anyone forget that the Scottish Open was going on somewhere in the world that day?
Yes. Probably in Scotland.
Like I shouldn't say this, but I tagged this as a week where like, hey, we should watch a documentary because there's not a ton going on. And here you have like 3 finals of these huge events, and like they were all pretty dramatic. But the image of Messi's ankle, who, if I've said it before, Randy is sneaky Messi lookalike. Like he could walk around looking a lot more like Messi if he wanted to.
5'3" with an attitude.
The mustache kills it, but like he could pull it off if he wanted to.
I've gotten it before.
Oh, he said that so cocky. You should see his face. Yeah, good old Tom.
All the time.
You ever talk to or date a girl who had an ankle monitor?
What do you do? How do the kids define talking to? Like sending money without any reason?
No, I mean, in any direct communication. I said talk to because I didn't want to make it like immediately seedy, and I wanted to leave a broad allowance for like close communication. Not just a girl that you saw at school with an ankle monitor.
We'll have to
We've all
few
been there.
roads.
Yeah, had to. They couldn't leave their house.
That's right. Hey, I don't think I have, KJ. Why? Where's this going?
So I did have a friend, freshman year in college, who was in the unfortunate position to be affixed with said device. And the only visual memory I can one of the most prominent visual memory of this person that I can recall is like them coming to open the gate to their apartments with like crew socks on and just a fat knot in their sock. And then me getting the long-winded explanation as to why they had that on, the ankle monitor. And so when I see Messi's ankle, I'm just like, Huh. Seen that before.
Everything
But,
reminds you of her.
Exactly.
What did she do? It sounds like a DUI.
It was DUI related
multiple.
and like an attempt to have somebody else use the like breathalyzer situation, failure to appear. Like nothing that I want to glorify in terms of the actions.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've all done it like 1,000 times.
Yeah, thousands of times.
Yeah, fuck. We completely forgot about the Gundy quote. That could have been great. But again, you'll never forget your first ankle monitor, is all I'm saying.
That's fair.
And you're saying Messi's
Sorry, I was
ankle
just
looked
being
like
a-
that is how
That's
we got there.
Yeah, that's a
And
good
Messi,
sports
exactly.
point.
To bring it back to soccer,
Good sports point.
Messi's
though.
ankle looked like it.
Um,
I didn't realize they'd been dominating so much, which I'm a soccer idiot. Nobody expects me to remember this. But they'd won the World Cup. They'd won the last Copa America. That's 3 straight, major tournaments for them. And I believe there was a narrative going into their first Copa America win a few years back when they were talking about Messi not being able to win on the big stage or, win the biggest tournaments. When they're talking about Ronaldo versus Messi. So like pretty chill to be an Argentinian soccer fan.
yeah, soccer Twitter or soccer dialogue is just NBA Twitter on an international scale. It's all it is.
Mhm.
It's so great. It's so terrible that it's so good. Where it's just no rings. It's just no rings, but there's doesn't show up for his country, but does show up for his club. It's so great.
Mbappe.
I learned a lot about Harry Kane yesterday. Will was giving me
England
some.
has it bad.
They really do, and I don't know why I get a little bit of pleasure out of them losing because I don't root for Spain. But it's the collective pile on onto England pretty much for anything is just it's kind of funny at this point.
I'm sure it's just an algorithm thing and like a different language barrier issue to where we don't get as much of the Spanish content. But English soccer content and soccer fandom content it's top tier. So I'll be interested to see if they can revive any of that for the Olympics again.
Yeah, I've been trying to revive my physique as of late. And whether you're a seasoned gym goer or just starting your fitness journey, FitBod will push you to make progress and progress too. Shout out FitBod. It's like having your own personal trainer, but better. What, Randy? Randy's over there cracking up.
The progress just going through. I loved it.
Look, Randy, here's the thing about it.
Big
It's
prog rock
cheaper
fan.
and you can work out anywhere with or without equipment. And it's easy to build a custom fitness plan that works for you. You know what's in my garage right now? 3 kettlebells from the COVID era. And you know what I do sometimes? If I don't feel like going to the gym or if I don't have time, I get up early and I got nothing to do. I fire up FitBod and I say, look, this is what I got, man. I got these kettlebells. I want to go swing them around. FitBod's got something for me. It creates personalized workout routines based on your goals, fitness level, and available equipment like the aforementioned kettlebells. FitBod adapts as you improve, so each workout will be challenging and push you to make progress. FitBod tracks your muscle recovery so you can avoid burnout and keep up your momentum. It's fine-tuned by experienced, certified personal trainers to bring best practices and exercise science to you. You can learn new movements the right way with over 1,000 demonstration videos. Add FitBod to your workout essentials. Join FitBod today to get your personalized workout plan, get 25% off your subscription, or try the app for free at fitbod.me/bang. That's fitbod.me/bang. We got to talk receivers.
Absolutely. This kind of snuck up on me. I feel like the headlines that I'd seen throughout the spring were the number of quarterbacks who turned down doing the Netflix quarterback show. We covered it last year. I thought it was enjoyable. I was happy that it existed. Didn't know how it would continue. We got Pat Mahomes, we got Kirk Cousins, Mariota was in it. And then it came out. We weren't getting quarterbacks. We were getting receivers this year. As I turned on this season's, I hadn't really read anything, didn't pay too much attention aside from who was going to be involved. So this year we have George Kittle, notably not a wide receiver, Debo Samuel, notably a weapons guy. Amon-Ra St. Brown from the Lions. Devontae Adams and Justin Jefferson. Awesome. What was your opinion before diving into the episode? Like on the slate of people that you have, what was your interest level?
I wanted to know more about Devontae. I've liked him as a player. Didn't really know much about him as a guy. Um, Debo, I was interested in just because he is. When you play against him, he almost has like a little bit of like a mythical. What's the word? Like I don't know. He's just such a beast, and he's so durable, and he's just so hard to bring down that he just seems like he'd be a real badass. And I'm just like want to see what he's all about. George Kittle, I kind of knew what to expect there, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Curious what he was like, given like his upbringing and his dad being a former two-time Mr. Universe bodybuilder, seemed like a real hard ass type. Just seeing what that was about. Just Justin Jefferson didn't really have an opinion on outside of like knowing that he was all these guys really, but him especially an absolute baller.
Yeah. I think I'm right there with you. And somehow Justin Jefferson being the best statistically made me the least interested.
Mm-hmm.
And because we'd seen Kirk Cousins last year, it also kind of eroded my interest in like rewatching behind the scenes in Minnesota, specifically.
Yeah, but I have to say, I don't want to forget to say this, that the juxtaposition, Dylan, between Justin Jefferson, who like his entire episode starts out with him just trying on like probably $250,000 worth of jewelry. The juxtaposition of that with his quarterback sitting down in a chair and his quarterback wearing his very best Banana Republic little button down and khakis is just hilarious. It's so funny to me.
Not just there, but I mean, we go to a little bit, but I probably over criticize this, but if you recall the Kirk Cousins episode from last year, we get his house on the shores of Lake Michigan in Western Michigan. And then we also get his Minnesota house, both absolutely beautiful. Granted, Kirk was already into his second contract now in his third with Atlanta, but you match that with single guy, no kids, living in a duplex with furniture that all could have been like Rent-A-Center furniture. It looked like none of it had like a cohesive, I brought somebody in to decorate the place kind of vibe. It could have just been a furnished apartment, basically, like
Yeah.
a college campus apartment. And he's busting out hundreds of thousands of dollars of jewelry out of just like a very standard jewelry box, not out of a safe, just out of a box. And I was like, man, this needs, hopefully before this was released, he changed up his routine because that was all very easily findable things.
Yeah, that's a great point. It really was an excessive amount of jewelry. Like, I know that that's never going to go away, but I was like, damn, I haven't really, like, I haven't seen a guy this into his jewelry in a long time. Uh, it just seemed like you could have stopped at 2 chains. You didn't really have to keep stacking them. 2 chains, please. Let's see, Randy.
2 chains.
Good.
I love the layers there, Okay, so Justin Jefferson, I won't dwell on his part too much because really that's all we get, with the exception of like we do get the stereotypical wide receiver who has to aggressively tell you real not even wide receiver, football player who has to tell you that they have two personalities. This applies almost to every single athlete that isn't like Pat Beverly or Draymond. Like, you flip a switch when you play any sport. It's just how it is. You don't have to give yourself a name. That's Jets. When I've got on my glasses, I'm Jets. And then you can call me Justin. Like, that only makes it weird. It's kind of childish. But even Kirk Cousins called him it. And that was kind of strange to me.
Did you like the background on the gritty? I know you've been wondering.
It goes back to the thing I discovered as soon as I hit play on this. I did not know that this whole thing was produced and put together by Omaha Productions this year. And maybe it was last year because it was quarterback. So maybe they were behind it last year.
They were.
But the influence of Peyton Manning on this season was very clear. And I think that's where we got 7 minutes on the gritty being his thing. And I appreciated it. He deserves a lot of credit. But I didn't need to see Adam Schefter and 10 other people doing the gritty.
Yeah. It was good reminder that that was his bit as it's worked its way into the pop culture lexicon, right? And I think we knew that. Not enough people talk about how I attempted a gritty on a number 18 at Paiute in Las Vegas,
I'm glad you pulled it. Yeah.
and then realized immediately like that I don't want to mess up the green here. So I don't know what I did. This is shortly after Dylan made a very long putt.
Or did he?
Or did he? Yeah. We'll get Brett back in here to explain that camera work. But yeah, I think honestly my favorite part of the Justin Jefferson one was him in the pregame meeting with Romo and Nance and Tracy. I don't know why. I guess that's what I thought it looked like and went down like, but I was like, oh yeah, this is cool to see this. And
We've heard about those a lot because announcers can't stop telling you that they have them
sure.
during a game. And I'd equate it to like, I can't stop telling people or saying on this show how much of a game I consumed. Oh, I watched it on my phone. Or I didn't catch much. Like, nobody cares. Like, just get to your point. Announcers do it all the time about their Thursday meetings with the player or whatever it is. It was very uncomfortable to see.
Mm-hmm.
So you're telling me you've got all of their talent. You know, you've got your main announcers. You've got Tracy there. And likely a producer or two, and then somebody running a PowerPoint behind the player so that they can all be on the same page. And I can probably see like for quarterbacks or for somebody like they're asking about, hey, what were you thinking here? Or walk us through this. And I'm sure it's pretty intense in some situations, not intense, but like dialed in, like kind of the Gruden quarterback room that used to get clips of. But this was 3 old people being really old, and it was very, very cringe.
It felt like a job like a second interview where you come in and it's supposed to be just you and like one of the founders, like 2 of the founders, and then they're like, "Hey, we're actually going to bring Mark and Jathu in here, and they're going to sit in on it." And I go, "Oh, okay, shit, got the whole little conference room full here, and we're just going to have this awkward little back and forth. Maybe a tray full of Schlotsky sandwiches are in there. Who knows?"
And it's pivoted to where they want to recruit you more than like they're interviewing you at that point.
Yeah, but it was interesting to see that, and maybe that speaks to just his entire storyline. And if that was the most interesting part, then it probably wasn't that interesting at all, really. But I did like seeing that. Oh, and here's another revelation: young, well-off man occasionally eats bad. He's got a lot of snacks. Loves to snack.
I assume they shot this around Halloween, of course, because we got some of the Halloween themed bags, but he did have a cabinet full of just fun size candies, which I appreciated that more than I did the shot of like him having 4 or 5 jars of half eaten like peppermints and small random candies. Like that doesn't strike me as, oh, you've got a problem like Lamar Odom or Marshawn Lynch. That just struck me as you got it in your house. When I see the cabinet, then we're on the same page. Like, all right, yeah, you're overstocking this for sure. Okay, let's knock out the others.
Do Devontae, because you're a big Devontae guy now.
I don't know that I could have told you 5 things about Devontae Adams besides the fact that he was a tremendous receiver who played in Green Bay, who went to Fresno State, and plays in Oakland. That's it. Couldn't tell you anything about personality, good dude, locker room dude, anything at all. And I walked away from like his part. The way they laid this out is you got Debo and Kittle in the first episode along with Amon-Ra St. Brown. You got 0 Justin Jefferson and 0 Devontae Adams. So we're doing this a little bit backwards. But the second episode begins with Devontae Adams who had his first year in Oakland, or in Las Vegas last year after being in Green Bay his whole career. And he's got 2 kids, and they're throwing a birthday party for one of his daughters. And a very relatable experience of like being the dad when the wife or the SIGUD throws the birthday party for your kid and you have not been doing the drop-offs. Maybe you do pickups, but you don't do the drop-offs or whatever. And your wife knows more of the people who are going to be there. So they have this very luxurious birthday party at, an NFL player's house in Vegas, and half of the parents had no idea that they were going to a birthday party put on by Davante Adams' wife, basically, for his daughter. And it felt very genuine and very cool because he also was like just a very genuine, normal dude, just somebody's dad at a party. And that was universal.
Yeah, that was cool. I wonder, like, if you're a dad, like that word gets around, right? Like word gets around. That's
I don't know. Like,
I don't know.
if it's the wife's picking him up, they're like, "Oh, yeah, we're going to the Adams." Like she might not know that he's an NFL player, and then just like, yeah,
You might not even know the last names. Like at multiple daycares that my kids have been at, you really just get the first names of the other parents. Inevitably, like you get an administrator or somebody runs it who F's up and like doesn't blind copy everybody on an email, and then you kind of can do some snooping.
a good point.
But you typically don't know the other kids' last names. You just see their first name. And if you didn't see them, all you have to do is have a consistent pickup time that's different than somebody else's by about 10 minutes, and you would never see the other parent.
Fair. Man, and I don't think I would have recognized Davante Adams.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's
right?
a big dude. He's not otherworldly big. This isn't like Aaron Donald or something where you're like, that guy's uncomfortably large and like you must work out. Like, you know what I mean? He's a big dude. If you saw him, but not like at a glance.
You know what I was watching for with him? Because him and Aaron Rodgers are like very good friends. And I was curious. I'm like looking for like a quality in him. I'm like, man, I wonder what kind of guy, like what kind of personality type is drawn to like Aaron Rodgers. Because Aaron Rodgers obviously a really unique guy. And I'm like, I wonder if there's like something I can see in him that like would make sense. And there's really not. It turns out I think he's just a good, easygoing guy. You find out him and Max Crosby are boys,
Yeah.
twins, as they have called each other. That was funny. That may have been the highlight of that one. Is the the matching fits 2 different times, just by chance.
Yeah, the like outlandish outfits too. I'm Louis Vuitton, and I can't remember the other one.
Alexander McQueen.
Alexander, thank you. I'm looking for commonalities between Rodgers and Davante Adams. They're both from the Bay Area. Rodgers from Chico, and Davante's originally from Redwood City. So like, maybe there's some personality traits that are similar with being from similar regions or areas. But yeah, Max Crosby, another person I don't know much about aside from his domination in the NFL, and like he gets high praise from some coaches.
Would love to have him on one of these. Anybody with a neck tat like that.
When Brent Rooker moves to Vegas with the A's, we need Brent to get us an intro. Which shout out to Brent. He hit 2 home runs over 450 feet yesterday. And it won't be in the home run derby tonight for questions I don't know, for reasons I don't understand. But dude's still fucking.
I'm gonna try to get him on.
Anyways.
I'm gonna try to get him on before the post All-Star break kicks in.
I'm all in, as you know. So yeah, Davante Adams just came across as like a super dialed in, wants to win, understands where he's at in the point of his career guy without having to be a weirdo about it. And I thought it was really, really cool to see.
Yeah. And also while playing with a very, very mid quarterback.
After playing with like a Hall of Fame quarterback. And that probably has to feel weird.
Yeah. Tough episode for Garoppolo. Just not good.
I got a feeling the season will be this way.
Oh my God. Yeah, that you always kind of wonder. You like to see what would love to have your receivers mic'd up when like a game-ending interception gets thrown, and just to see you see their body language, and you're like, oh man, I wonder what they're saying. And then you had like that one moment where Mike Tomlin's right there, and Mike Tomlin just that was kind of cool to see because I doubt Mike Tomlin knew he was
Just
mic'd up.
snaps immediately.
It just immediately is like right there, like, hey man, like that was nice little look into Mike Tomlin and what he's all about. Um, but yeah, it's a real tough scene for Garoppolo. And then they show the suite with all the families, and they're just like, "Oh goddamn!" Just a game-ending
That's
pick.
the dangerous part of this show. Like, I mean, hell, we had potential to have Jackson Mahomes on the show last year, and there was 0 for good reason. But as a player, you're now like liable for a lot of extra bullshit coming from your family about your teammates in the moment, even if
Micah
they don't
Parsons'
mean it.
brother.
Like there's a
Dak's
lot
brother.
of collateral damage that you're going to have to be like weary of. Which let's shift gears to the others. Debo, I don't want to dwell too much on Debo because it's pretty standard, kind of like Justin Jefferson so far.
Boring. We knew the backstory. We know why they call him Debo.
I want to save Kittle for last.
Please do.
Amon-Ra St. Brown. You alluded to John Brown, his dad, being Mr. Universe 2 times. He passed away last year. So I'm going to be very, very cautious on how I approach my opinions throughout this show if we, go in depth about it again. Because I watch every scene with Amon-Ra St. Brown through the lens of this is what happens when you have an absolute psychopath, overly involved, like youth sports father, like involved for too long, too much, always. So again, possibly a wonderful person. Rest his
Indeed.
soul.
You're just going with what the tape shows you.
But holy shit, I could not imagine a parent of mine or my in-laws calling me or vice versa, because at your job, you did something and celebrated in a manner, and they call your spouse to blame.
Not even his wife. Like, it's his girlfriend.
It's girlfriend. I'm sorry. You're right. Yes. Sigurd.
Dude, what the? That was
Amon-Ra
weird.
St. Brown did like a pelvic thrust dance after a touchdown.
Uncomfortable,
last
must
year.
say.
Very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. And the dad had gotten wind, like the girlfriend had said, "Oh, we're working on some celebrations, some touchdown celebrations," as a throwaway comment previously. Pelvic thrust happens, and the dad picks up the phone and calls and leaves a long voicemail, or like basically lectures her on how inappropriate the dance was before going to the son, and brings it up to the son like at dinner, and like makes them all talk about it at dinner.
Yeah.
I could not, man.
Yeah, this is a guy who competed in Mr. Universe competition.
Won
twice. Okay. May he rest in peace.
Like in the Schwarzenegger era, like in the heyday of that competition, like at the peak of bodybuilding being popular, like late 80s.
German wife.
Wow. That
the
I was
way.
impressed with.
I knew that from, I don't know if I knew that from the draft, if that was one of his little package on draft day, whatever it was. I knew that for some reason, but it
From
was
getting the names Amon and Equinamius. His brother's Equinamius St. Brown. He's Amon-Ra St. Brown. So I think somewhere in there that may have come across, right?
what?
Like, I don't know how that would be related to German, but for some reason in my head, that was the tie, like where I got the German tie to it. I don't know. I'm asking you as a native German former citizen.
Oh no, I mean, no, their other brother is Gunter St. Brown. That's not true. I made that up. I don't think they have a Gunter in the family. That would be a lot more. Or Hans. I'm just going with German names. I don't fucking know.
Well, my wife is half German, half Brazilian, or not half and half, but like German, Brazilian, and Italian. But the German side, like, is there. But I don't know about like Equinamius is nowhere in the family tree, so I don't know where I got that from.
I don't know that either. What's that? Let's talk Kittle. I know. Look, we know Kittle. This is the most unexpected. We knew, or I guess it was the most expected. We knew what Kittle was about. He's a baller. He's a great player.
Absolutely.
Um, he has a nice, loving wife. They've got a cool dog. He's sponsored by Chubby's. They take a little bus, little Sprinter van
That part I
to the
didn't
game.
realize. I didn't realize that they did a party bus to every game. Like the whole family loads up and does a party bus. I remembered his wife played basketball at Iowa. Which is disgusting to be like, oh man, they're gonna have some, athletic kids, but they are. if in fact they care to. But the party bus scene, when you get a player's dad just straight cracking beers and all of the siblings on the bus, like amping up, listening to songs. Matter of fact, I'm really upset with myself. I'll bring the song next time. There's some custom George Kittle rap song.
It's so bad.
And it almost ruined this whole show.
Dude, there's no way they're just bumping that on the way. And if they are, it's a bit. And you know what? Maybe you got to bump the song. It's a bit. Okay. Because it's not a good song. It was weird to see his dad, who looks oddly young. Which if my son was making NFL money, hopefully he can slide me some of that HGH, good skincare money, and I can look cool too.
It gave me Luca dad vibes.
He just
Maybe
looked
it's just the
young.
beer, but it gave me like Luca or Talladega Nights dad vibes. Like
Okay.
something about it.
Kittle, look, he just seems like he would be really fucking annoying to have that as a teammate. He plays a lot. He plays too much. He's a great player. He's a great tight end. But man, he is just kind of a beating.
George Kittle is kind of the personification of a limited edition Doritos bag. Like,
Okay.
every time I see him, I think like extra spicy, extra zesty Doritos.
Okay.
And I hope that that's an ad thing. Maybe he's done ads for them in the past. And
Flavor
it's just
blasted?
kind of inceptioned. But that he is a flavor blasted human. And I respect his game, but that's who he is. Which is weird, being like the antithesis of everything you would say is like, oh, tight end from Iowa. And maybe that's what he plays against. But I'm happy he's on the show, but it is a lot.
I'm gonna say he reminds me of, to make myself sound cool or pathetic. I drank beers in high school,
Oh, sick.
and there was always a crew of people who didn't really drink. In fact, they were probably better students and were maybe involved heavily in FCA athletics for whatever reason. They didn't really get exposed to that. They would go to college and they would start drinking for the first time, and then you would see them at Thanksgiving. There'd be a big party. Everybody's like first holiday back, and you're seeing everybody, since they all went to their respective colleges. And these people came back and they were just the worst drunks. They were they were sloppy, clearly had not been drinking very long. And you're just like, Jesus, man. Like, I don't know why I got that vibe from him. It's probably a compliment because it means he's had his shit together. But man, dude, I just am conflating this with the footage from the Super Bowl where he's like, what is he doing? He's like talking to somebody mid-block. Meanwhile, there's a crucial fumble and like right behind him when McCaffrey fumbles. And had he been paying attention, maybe he could have jumped on that ball. And then there's him like doing the meme. I can't even remember what it was. There's some meme he's doing on the sideline, and everybody's like, dude, yeah, we don't know what you're talking about, man. He just seems like he would be a lot. And if he was not a world-class tight end, you'd be like, man, can we please just move on?
Is it the fuck Dallas shirt and him saying he'd take the fine again? Which
Yeah, I'll do it again.
I appreciate the like creating a rivalry. I also don't get the basis of it. Like, they've won. Like, what is it? What is Dallas to you? You know what I mean? Like, I don't remember anyone Dallas affiliated ever like going out of their way to insult George Kittle or the Niners for that sake.
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of had that thought too, because I was like, oh, this is just because he saw a vintage pick, a cool pick. Don't get me wrong. That's a pretty dope thing from back in the day. But I thought there was much more to it. Instead, it's just like, I want to do this. I'm gonna do some of that. I'm gonna flavor blast this little rivalry, get it going again. And no one else participated in it but him. And then he wanted to make sure everybody on the sidelines saw that he did it. I was like, yeah, just check that out. It's gonna be another fine. I'm gonna pay it. I'll do
Hey,
it
hey.
again. I'll fucking do it again.
Drew. I pulled the shirt out. I did it, bro. I did
That's
it.
crazy. He seems like the
Oh,
ultimate.
you're
You're talking to
wild,
him, and
man.
you're like, oh, that's crazy. Oh, cool, man.
I'll watch it. Obviously, we know where their season goes, but Devontae Adams and the Kittle family alone will get me back in for a few more episodes, in which I will harp on. Is this show going to become like what happens when you give a 26-year-old to 30-year-old woman or male, significant other, unlimited funds to throw a birthday party or event at a house? Because we've now seen Brittany Mahomes do Patrick's birthday. We've gotten Kittle's birthday and we've gotten a kid's birthday party. And that seems to be like a big focal point for these shows. So I'm going to continue critiquing the hell out of like the Sweet 16 that we're getting out of this show.
Yeah. I like that. I mean, we're gonna get.
We had a Spider-Man balloon at a fucking house for grown-ass adults.
Wow. What was it?
Legitimate Spider-Man balloons.
What do you think the damage on that was?
Needed a bounce house.
I wouldn't have been shocked if there wasn't a fucking slip and slide or Jello shots at the George Kittle party.
I respected the George Kittle party. Just brought the friends. Brought Bosa came by, which they acted like was like the craziest thing. Like, holy shit, you got Bosa.
That I appreciate it because, again, my perception of Bosa was that he was only doing Molly with Zeke and Steve Aoki at all times.
Molly.
And for them to be like, you can never get Bosa out of the house. I'm like, okay. Get him on a show next year. Let me see that story after.
Let's
JD
talk
Vance takes
Bosa.
office.
Let's see what he thought about JD Vance. Let's figure it out.
Exactly.
No, this is like I'm enjoying this. We're 2 episodes. I don't know how many are out there, but we will continue to watch. We'll watch the next 2 for next week and get Dylan's takes. You want to party real quick and get out of here?
Yeah, we'll do some quick hits. Shout out to the family of Jacoby Jones, RIP.
What was the cause of death there?
Unreleased yet, but 40 years old. Everything I've seen about him is super positive. We mentioned Mike Tomlin. He is who was returning a kick, and Mike Tomlin stepped onto the field and acted like he was looking the other way at the Jumbotron and tripped him or like rerouted him, and he got tackled, got fined massively for it. He later played with the Steelers, and that got smoothed over, but tough day for legends of the Pittsburgh area. Home run derby tonight.
Home run derby tonight. Adolis Garcia. He's been
Adolis Garcia
fucking ass.
and
He's been ass, and he might be the first guy to revamp his entire season by doing the home run derby and not completely fuck his swing out because he's been bad. And they were in Houston. They took 2 out of 3 in Houston. The Rangers did, and dude, he has looked very, very bad at the plate. Lack of hustle all around. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, we're in Arlington, the All-Star game, so that's cool. I'll be tuned in just to support the city. You have to support your city, Agtown guy.
On the Coconut Husk field, Marcelo Zuna, Teoscar Hernandez, Gunnar Henderson, Bobby Witt Jr. will be interesting to see.
Sure.
But of course, Pete Alonso is kind of low key the current legend of home run derbies. So, yeah, I'll check it out. I'll check out the highlights for sure. You gonna do the shout out first, or
shout out to Coach David Pierce, the recently fired head baseball coach at the University of Texas, has now agreed to go down San Marcos way and be an assistant to the Texas State Bobcats. So shout out to David Pierce, a golfing buddy of mine, not to name drop, but yeah, that's cool. Get a little name recognition, San Marcos. Let's get that program back on track.
At 61 years old, you got to think that allows him time to make another move or just dig in with the Cats for a while. Good for him.
Yeah.
And as I mentioned at the top of the show, if you purchase the deluxe version of College Football 25, today is the end of an purchased. I'll emphasize the purchased part. Today's the end of what was like 10 plus years in waiting for those out there who care about playing college football video games. I'll go long on my stories of the past about this game and what it's meant and what it's done for and to me. But I will be playing, and if I get confident enough to say that I will be dominating any of you people online, I'll put the gamer tag out there. But I believe crossplay is available, so PS5 or Xbox does not matter. But Dynasty is pick one or the other.
Let's go. All right. We'll be
Yeah.
back next week with Dylan. Episodes 3 and 4 of Receivers. And we will be talking open and other things. Bye-bye.
I want my chips with the dip. That's all I know. I don't want my chips plain. I want my chips with the dip. So bring them dips.